But anyway, let's wrap up on Endgame and move on to Dark Phoenix.
Okay.
Oh, Phoenix.
Oh, Phoenix.
Now, this is one we saw together because I thought it was pretty important that I'd third wheel it with you and Bronny and watch a Dark Phoenix with you. Otherwise, I'd probably watch it by myself or go see it with
We had to
the old
close it out. Most of the X-Men movies we've seen together.
That's right.
Can you remember which ones we didn't see together? There wasn't many
We
of
saw
them.
number 1 together. I don't think we saw number 2 together.
Okay, yeah.
Did we see number 3 together?
I think it was most of them.
Yeah, I think we saw Wolverine together. No, didn't see the Wolverine together. I saw Logan with the old man. Saw Days of Future Past with you.
Definitely.
Apocalypse with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the majority of them we saw together, and we saw Dark Phoenix together. So yeah, it was pretty important that we saw this. I remember seeing the first one. It was you, me, Lawley, and Dad dropped us off.
Yeah.
Dad didn't want us to
At
stick around.
Hoyt's.
Yeah, at Hoyt's before they did all the refurbishments,
Yeah.
and you'd had to walk all the way there from the food court. And Dad was making Wolverine claw jokes. But he didn't want to go see it. Why didn't you want to see it, Dad? But yeah, Dark Phoenix. First thoughts, first impressions. What'd you think of it?
Well, if you go Endgame as wow, you go with okay.
Huh. Those noises.
Okay, right. Well, there's
was-
plenty to talk about.
There's plenty to talk about. The first thing when I come out of the cinema, I said to you, well, geez, the music was good.
Yes, my first thing. Hans Zimmer, great work with the score.
He elevated the shit out of that music. I was like, now that's what a superhero movie's supposed to sound like, man. I think he gets the material and really works it to make it sound iconic. And I think only the Avengers movies have done that. All the other superhero movies in the MCU sort of had music that fit, but didn't really grab you. You know what I mean? I mean, everyone knows the Avengers theme.
Yeah.
No one knows what the Ant-Man theme sounds like,
Yep.
or Guardians sound like. They just sound like soundtracks. But oh wow, Dark Phoenix, so powerful. And I went back and watched a little bit of Days of Future Past, a little bit of Apocalypse. I don't think the music was nearly as epic as Dark Phoenix music was. That scene when she's battling the helicopter with Magneto and trying to save those people, and the music's taken off, and when the train is getting lifted off the track, that music is pumping, and it's just, you're just feeling it, you know? That made me wow. That wowed me like nothing else.
If I had a complaint about the music, is I would have liked to see some more actual songs.
All right.
Oh, from the 90s. Like set in the 90s. Let's put some more cool songs in there.
The music that I noticed in it, the songs, they were mostly just 70s songs that I noticed during the flashbacks, the Werewolves of London and whatever. But yeah, this movie starts where Apocalypse leaves off, except there's no costumes. All those costumes that looked like X-Men the Animated Series, they're gone. We're back to the navy blue jumpsuits with the yellow X across the front, which, Brooksy, I was feel a bit disappointed about.
Yes.
We could have told the exact same story we did with Dark Phoenix with uniforms.
Exactly.
Why get rid of them?
No, this is something that's definitely going to change once it goes to Marvel. Because how often do you see bloody Captain America show up to a battle in fucking gym shorts?
In his civvies,
exactly.
You know what I mean?
It doesn't fucking happen.
I mean, and the bad guy uniform or the powerful person uniform is usually a dark suit, dark trench coat. That's what Phoenix was wearing. That's what not Lilandra was wearing, and that's what Magneto was wearing. I think, come on, guys, let's get the costumes happening again. You know, even Scarlet Witch, the actress, Elizabeth Olsen was saying like, it's time that I got a costume because she's wearing the dark suit or whatever and a dark trench coat. So it's like, I don't know about that. Come on. And I read somewhere online that the director took influence from Logan by having realistic-looking clothes to make it feel a bit more real or whatever, or gritty or
Who cares?
Who cares?
Yeah,
That
it's a superhero movie.
It's a superhero movie. That's not what you take influence off Logan from.
No.
You take Logan influence as being a good movie.
Yeah.
Try to make a good movie. That is not stealing like costume ideas or borrowing sensibilities from Logan. That's not going to help a different project. It's not going to help Dark Phoenix, which has a space battle and giant firebirds and everything. That's not going to When we already know it's not real, don't dress them real. You know what I mean?
All right, so I got some notes.
Yeah, hit me.
I'll try and go through the movie and we'll talk about things. Try and prompt us.
Yeah,
okay?
that'll be
This
really
is what
good.
I've tried to do.
Yeah, this will be a bit more structured for our listeners.
From the start, so you've got like Jean as a kid in the car, and then that epic crash.
Yeah. Very gruesome crash.
My complaint is most of it's in the trailer.
Yeah. Was it? I stopped watching the trailers.
Right. Well, don't show me the good parts in the trailer. That's what I'm saying.
With the trailers, they're trying to get as many people in the seats as they can. So, of course, they're going to show all the best bits. And unfortunately, there weren't that many action set pieces in the movie, eh?
No,
Yeah.
there was not.
There was a lack of that. So, all the action you saw in the trailer all happens in the movie. So, anything new you want to see action-wise, you're probably not going to see it.
So, yeah, you got Jean as a kid. She kills her mum, and the professor takes her in.
That's right, yes. Flash forward.
Now, the professor makes the X-Men head into space to save the Endeavour shuttle.
They're 100% working for the government at this time.
Yeah.
They're accepted by humans as being a group of people who are special with gifts, and they're here to help us because they're working with the president. Professor X is finally, this is his dream coming true.
Yeah.
So he's really
He loves it.
He loves it. He don't want to lose that.
So they get a distress call. They save all the astronauts, but Jean's left on the shuttle, and she absorbs all this cosmic energy into her body. At the start of it, she seems pretty unfazed by it. So they just cut back to Earth, don't they? And then she just walks out.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, so nothing's happened to her.
They land the Blackbird, which somehow can go to space now.
That was stupid
they
too.
They hang a lamp on that too. They
Yeah.
say Beast is about to explain. Well, we can go into space because, and then someone cuts him off.
It was like, yeah, it's fine, it'll work. Go.
Yeah, no, I was like, did I do that to me? So she lands back on Earth. She's fine, and she's going to get some tests done by Beast.
So they run the checks on her when she's back on Earth. She's fine, but then she starts to get headaches.
And I got to mention that this is probably minute 8 of the movie.
That is, yes.
We are jumping in so fast.
Yeah.
We're not establishing any of these characters like people who don't know these characters. So first timers watching this would be confused as fuck. Because, I couldn't believe how quickly they got into it.
So, she starts getting these headaches, and that's busting down these mental blocks that the professor's put into her mind.
So the mental blocks are back in play.
Yes.
They've
brought that back from Last Stand.
And they've disregarded that the Phoenix has been in her since X-Men Apocalypse.
Or even, was Apocalypse the one where she was burning the walls? Or was that... Yeah, that was Apocalypse. That was the start of Apocalypse. Yeah, where she's burning the walls down when she's in bed and that sort of shit.
And he's saying, hold back. So in a way that Jean beats Apocalypse...
Unleash.
Professor X says unleash, and as she's wiping out Apocalypse, the Phoenix bird arrives, which we're led to believe she's got the Phoenix in her always.
Yeah.
But now she doesn't have the Phoenix in her always.
Yeah, and
the cosmic fire in space is the Phoenix.
Yeah.
So everything in Apocalypse, nah. Don't worry about that. Forget about that.
Doesn't make sense.
That doesn't make sense.
So, yeah.
So we're already sort of contradicting ourselves.
Yeah, minute 10, you're like...
Minute 10.
Hang on.
You're changing the rules again? Come on. I should mention that Simon Kinberg, the director and writer of Dark Phoenix, also wrote Last Stand.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm starting to think that maybe the Phoenix was shoehorned into Apocalypse for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
And Kinberg wasn't a fan of it being...
Well, do you think
inside Jean.
Do you think they wrote themselves into a hole there where they made Apocalypse so big and bad that they're like, well, how do we get rid of him then?
Like, exactly right, yeah.
Instead of bringing in some other massive character or bringing something else in, they didn't establish something, so they're like, oh, I'll just use Phoenix.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Just get Phoenix in there.
Lazy writing.
Well, they couldn't get Cable in there or Bishop because Bishop's in the future and Cable's with Deadpool.
Yep. So, she has this big blackout in the forest with Dazzler.
Dazzler's there. Dazzler's taking care of the pyros and the lighting and dazzling everybody. They're drinking punch that Jean's just pounding down.
Yeah.
And Cyclops, I'll get you another drink. She necks it. Get me two. So, all right. Cyclops is in for it today. But you already got lucky coming off the shuttle. You see him making out in the bedroom, which is cool.
So yeah, she goes crazy in the forest. Boom, hurts a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
She's not happy.
Nah, she's feeling dangerous.
And now these mental blocks are down.
Mm.
So then she gets these things that her dad is alive.
Yes, yep.
So she goes to find her dad in Red Hook.
Mm.
And he's back at her childhood home.
Mm. And you see things about Professor say, I've got these in place for a reason. And he's been very secretive about it, and he really doesn't want her to go see her dad.
So when she goes to see her dad, he wants nothing to do with her.
Mm.
And he says that he gave it to Xavier and that, and she's
You're seeing
not
these
happy.
really dark flashbacks that he blamed Jean for the death of his wife. And when Jean comes to the door, sees all these pictures of her mum up there, None of her. So you didn't come looking for me. He's like, I didn't want you. I was like, oh my God, this is fucking heavy.
So
this is an MCU movie. There'd be a butt joke in here to cut the tension. You know what I mean? But one thing I like about
Ant-Man would show up.
Ant-Man show up. Hey guys, can you let me in? Oh, sorry, I'm the wrong set. Like, oh, shut the fuck up. But here, what's good? We'll never see it again because say whatever. Marvel movies outside the MCU, they will let you sit in this moment. They won't cut it with a joke. They won't do anything to soften it, which is what I really appreciate and what I'll probably miss when X-Men go into the MCU. There's no chance you're getting a scene like that dark ever again. So I appreciate that for that scene because that was pretty powerful stuff.
So again here, this is where the X-Men show up, which is what we see in the trailer.
Yeah.
Another bugbear.
Yeah, the jet shows up. They come out in their uniforms. Professor X is wearing his brown pants and black skivvy because he wore that in the 60s and he thought he dusted off for the 90s that were in
It was on
there.
the rotation.
It was on the rotation, yeah. He didn't have time to pick up a fresh suit.
So this is where Mystique gets killed. Again, it's exactly what we saw in the trailer.
Yeah.
She goes flying backwards and then there's
They cut away before she
dodgy
hits
fence.
the Mortal Kombat spikes.
Yeah, fatality.
Fatality. But Jean's flying now, and she can fly, do whatever. She's lifting up all the gravel off the ground. She's she's gone to level 10 mutant straight away or whatever. And everyone's
They
still
didn't bring that back.
Oh yeah, she's the only level 6 mutant I've ever felt or whatever, which is fine. But your prediction came true because you saw a funeral and you assumed someone died. I was on board with you. I thought, okay, because you said maybe Quicksilver dies.
Yes.
Okay, well, he's a goner. He's running up the steps and you're just going to wipe him out or disintegrate him.
So that's my next thing. Quicksilver. He's running up those boards. She gets rid of a board. He goes through a bush, and that's him for the rest of the episode.
Yeah.
He's not in the rest of the movie.
Yeah. And it's just a mild injury.
Yeah, there's no Quicksilver scene. Why? Why no Quicksilver scene?
Well, that was it. That was just that's the best we got. And
they could have at least put that in there at some time.
Well, I figure they this could be going against expectation. We're expecting a Quicksilver scene now. In Days of Future Past, they came up with a scene so good, there's no way they're going to beat it. But they tried in Apocalypse and they didn't beat it. It wasn't as good.
But if you go on to YouTube, that's one of the most watched scenes from Apocalypse. People want to watch that because it's funny. It goes through a song. Like, I was waiting for that. I wanted to see another one. I don't care if it's the same thing. Do it.
One of the critiques
90s song, do it.
Can you imagine a 90s song in there? I don't know what you'd put
Would
in
it be
there.
Can't Touch This?
Oh my God.
That was my call. I'm like, come on, MC Hammer.
You just did it again, Brooksy. You're right.
Break down.
Someone's got to be shooting at him, though. They're after him. Oh, you've done it.
Can't stop. Hammer time.
That is perfect.
How good would that be?
That'd be unreal, dude. One of the critiques I read for Dark Phoenix was it was a very joyless and grim movie. A Quicksilver slow motion scene would have brought too much happiness into the movie, so that's why that was probably cut. It's meant to be a Dark Phoenix. Well, the movie's called Dark Phoenix. You're not going to have bright happy. It's not bright happy Phoenix, so you're not going to have any fun.
But that was like the way I see it is like the last movie. That was when what's his name? Havoc died. Like Havoc died during that scene of the funny.
Yeah, there's the dark stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, keep going. The next part.
She flies away.
She's
Mystique's
gone.
dead.
Yeah, Mystique is dead.
Beast sees her and is pissed off.
Yeah, not happy.
Yeah, because previously They set up a relationship between Beast and Mystique. We should leave. Beast doesn't want to leave. He's backing up Charles. Did it come across to you that they were in a relationship?
Yeah, but it did before, and then it came across like her and Magneto were in a relationship.
She does seem sleeping around-ish.
Yeah.
But to me, it didn't seem like, okay, Beast and Mystique, they're together.
And it also did seem like it was her and Charles in a relationship at one point too. And then he's like, oh no, we're like brother and sister sort of thing. And it's like,
But what I'm trying to get across is like Beast flips out and
his reaction is a lot more like they were in a relationship.
Yeah, yes. He reacts like they were very much in love and together, and he seems like he's lost the love of his life because he flips out.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's move on.
So we go to this Magneto's Island, which people are calling Genosha.
Nah, it's not Genosha.
So there was nothing about it being Genosha in the movie.
It didn't even look like an island to me. It just looked like a bit of bush on the edge of New York or whatever.
Yeah, with a few containers hanging around. It was a cheap-ass set.
It did not... a cheap-ass set. It's just a junkyard. I could get that set.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not Genosha. I don't care what people say. It's just a junkyard.
Yep. So, yeah, Jean goes there still covered in Mystique's blood. And this is when the army shows up in the helicopters. Again, well, we've already seen in the bloody trailer. Like, leave one of these things out. Just leave one of them out.
Gotta get bums and seats, Brooksy.
Endgame, they didn't have all the portals open up and everyone come running through.
Well, with Endgame, the marketing team knows we could just show them eating popcorn and they're going to show up. With Dark Phoenix, we don't know if the audience is coming back. These guys are outside the MCU. Remember when we all sat down and I said, so does this movie come in before or after Avengers? That was me being a smartass, but I'm really thinking a lot of people might have asked that question.
Right.
So I'm thinking from a marketing team point of view why they showed everything in the trailer, because I don't think people were going to show up, and it turns out that they haven't been showing up. But we'll get onto that later.
Okay, so now we go to Jessica Chastain's character. In the finished film, Chastain's character is revealed to be Vuk, the leader of the alien race called the Dabari.
Fuck's sake, what a waste of a character this one was.
So this is what apparently they were talking about with the change, that these were originally the Skrulls.
Oh.
And that was used in Captain Marvel, so they went, oh, fuck, let's change this.
Was that really what it was?
Apparently.
Wow.
I got a couple of things written down. The entire ending for X-Men Dark Phoenix was reshot because it was supposedly too similar to another superhero movie. The common theory being that the sequence of Phoenix Force-powered Jean Grey wrecking spaceships was scrapped because it felt too much like Captain Marvel, where Carol Danvers shredded the Kree. Yeah.
That's what
with
should
a
have
flashy
been.
energy blast.
That was the song that should have been there, right? Instead of
So Ty Sheridan, Cyclops, said that a particular version of the story would have ended in the UN, with Cyclops and the Professor asking for help from the world's governments against the mysterious alien race, and then Jean would have showed up and telepathically beat the shit out of some guards who would have been revealed to be Skrulls, and then would have single-handedly saved the day from the Skrulls and then blast off into space as the Phoenix.
Was that shot? Or is it
I don't know. This was in an interview that he gave.
Wow.
So yeah, this is what
that's
they're saying.
Next level reshoots. If they shot all that, couldn't have, could not have.
Whether that was the first script that they sent,
I think sounds like that was like the first draft of the script.
But yeah, that was what is online. People are saying. Mm-hmm. So we get her. It's just Jessica Chastain having a bloody dinner party, and then these stupid aliens are outside.
These sort of tree aliens. They just look like trees, and they sort of, I don't know if they possess the people or they replicate them.
Kill them. Like, is this T-1000 rules?
Typically a subject being copied is dominated.
Yeah.
And
so the Dabari.
So what are they called again?
Dabari.
The Dabaris show up, and they sort of, to kill people, they just twist their chests, and a force or something turns their chest into a spiral or whatever. So they've got no tendrils or anything, got no laser beams. They've just got a little bit of telekinesis, and that's how they wipe them out.
So yeah, Vuk, I think that's VUK.
Vuk, yeah.
Yep. The leader of the shapeshifters wants the Phoenix Force, or to control Jean to use the Force because it destroyed their world.
Yeah. So it's Sentinel Prime rules in Transformers 3. They just want the power. They want the Allspark to reignite their world.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Hashtag not my X-Men plot. But
So,
that's
yeah.
what we're working with.
They got rid of Lilandra for this.
Yes. That's the
Why?
ultimate tragedy, and why there's already a million articles online saying X-Men the Animated Series Dark Phoenix is the best Dark Phoenix
That's right.
we've had still.
Okay, so now we go to Beast. He is pissed off with the Professor.
He's hanging out in the tiny little kitchen that Bronny pointed out. Big mansion, small kitchen.
Why is the kitchen so small?
They wanted to keep that as is. So Beast is not getting drunk. He's just sipping water from a jug, and Professor X comes in with the scotch
Yeah.
to chill him out because he's blowing up. Should mention that Beast has... this has pissed me off just like the appearing helmets in the MCU. He can turn his Beast blue form on and off.
Yes.
He just turns it on and off.
Yeah.
So he's
Beast Hulk.
Beast Hulk. He's standing there in human form when Professor comes in and tries to chill him out.
He's controlling his beastness.
Mm.
That I did not like that at all. That's
nah.
stupid, mate. Nicholas Hoult, you got the blue on all the time.
Keep the blue on, mate.
Yeah. So yeah, wasn't happy with that. So anyway,
Jennifer Lawrence was barely in the blue as well.
Ah,
She just did the head because she had the suit on.
she's dead. And talk about phoning in your bloody performance. My God, everything was monotone. Thank God she was only in it for bloody 15 minutes. She phoned that in something fierce.
Oh, mate.
Get out of here, mate. We do not need friggin' Mystique. Why you show up to a battle and turn it into the guy's mum to yell at him? Like,
Yeah.
get out of here. So, yeah, anyway, he's not happy. He ends up pissing off to Magneto.
Yeah, he's had a real bad falling out with Charles, smashes the water jug, and then leaves to go to Not Genosha to see
Not
Magneto.
Yeah. So, yeah, he goes, sees Magneto, tells Magneto
He wants to kill Jean.
Yeah.
Beast wants to kill Jean.
that Jean killed
Mystique.
Mystique.
Yeah, because Magneto's trying to get that out of Jean. Whose blood is that? She wouldn't give it up. And then Beast tells it, and then they're both mad.
Yeah. And then we get...
You killed our girlfriend.
And then we get a Magneto getting his helmet out of somewhere for like the 5th time. And it's
This is
always
the
a different helmet.
This is the worst example too. He just gets it out of a box that's under his bed. Can't you just open up a safe like how Batman keeps the bat suit in there?
Yeah.
Give me a wow moment. Nah, it's in the chest of drawers under your bed next to your porn. Come on, Magneto. Lift, mate.
So then this part had me thinking too. So the Beast has gone to Magneto. Professor can't find where Magneto is, but he can find where Beast is. I thought that maybe that was going to swap around, and that's what Beast had done because he knew that the Professor could track him.
Yeah.
So I thought that was going to
Gonna
come
be a
out.
double switch.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that never came.
Ah.
That's too good for Duck.
Yeah. That's you being too creative again, damn it. Should be writing there.
So the Professor, Cerebro's Beast, and Magneto, and finds out they're in New York, and they're chasing Jean. They're going to try and kill her.
Of course they're in New York. They're always in New York. Just hang around 5th Street or
That's
whatever.
right. So this is where we do get that awesome Cyclops line.
Yes.
So favorite quote from the movie has to be this one from Cyclops.
Hit it with me. Hit me with it again because I forgot it. I know he does use the F word.
I don't know whether this is
you touch her,
exactly
I'll
the
fucking
right.
kill you.
He says, "You hurt her, and I'll fucking kill you."
And I said, "Yeah, this is a Cyclops I could get behind."
Boom! Exactly.
And I was like, "Oh man, am I a fan of Cyclops in this movie? I can't tell." Because the whole movie he's just saying pretty rational stuff.
Yep.
You know what I mean? He's just looking after his girl. And then he threatens one of the most powerful mutants on Earth. You touch my girlfriend, I'll fucking kill you. That popped the crowd, which was good.
Yep.
A tiny pop. No Avengers Endgame pop, but we got to laugh at everybody.
And we get our one F word from...
One F word per Marvel Fox movies.
Yeah.
And you couldn't remember the one in Days of Future Past, right?
No.
No, First Class.
No, it's Days of Future Past. Because
okay.
First Class is when he's in the bar.
Go fuck yourself.
Yeah. But I can't remember the one from Days of Future Past. I'm going to have to rewatch it.
I think, I don't know if there was one, but I thought Charles was
Yeah.
about to say it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a cool little bit in the movie that I think you and me laughed at, is when Charles, Magneto and his goons are walking up to the mansion, the Hellfire Club or whatever it is, wherever.
Yeah, well, that's not in it either.
Wherever.
Can't say Hellfire Club.
The not Hellfire Club, where they came from not Genosha to fight not Lilandra.
And not the Skrulls.
And not the Skrulls. So Magneto and his goons are walking up to not the Hellfire Club, and the X-Men come up behind him, and Charles says something, "Don't do this, Eric, you're about to," and he gets cut off. Says something like, "There's always a reason, Charles, and there's always a speech."
Yeah.
And I thought, that's great. Magneto's not having it.
So this is the cool part that they didn't put in the trailer.
That's
is where
right,
he
yes.
pulls the subway car out of the ground.
Yeah, they start a little fight, and Professor X has got the sleeves up. He's doing a little bit. He's mind-stopping a few people from doing their powers.
Mainly beasts.
When really, he's so powerful, he could stop everybody.
That's right.
Except for Magneto.
Yeah.
So they had to nerf his powers a little bit. So Cyclops is fighting some guy with hair whips.
Yeah,
or
hair whip
something.
guy. I did tell you his name last time we were talking about it, but I can't remember now.
Not Whiplash.
Doesn't matter.
And not Omega Red.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. And there was another lady that looked
Selene.
like Callisto.
Yeah.
But was Selene and Beast and Professor X. And then during that melee, Magneto crouches down, puts his hands on the asphalt. So what's he doing? And he does what you said, rips up a subway car.
And that scene of
Which
him
was pretty cool.
walking through the door with the subway car following him, I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool.
That's good. And Hans Zimmer with that music.
Yeah.
Making sure
Makes it heaps better.
that Magneto is a badass.
So he floats up. Jean's inside here. This is where the Vux telling her all this shit about the Phoenix Force and all that sort of stuff. She's just trying to manipulate it. This is what Mastermind does, manipulating the Dark Phoenix.
Yeah.
So yeah, he comes up, floats up into Jean, and he's like, I'm here to kill you. I'm going to kill you.
Yeah,
and then he
gets-
rips off the banister, and he's trying to kill her with it.
Gets it in the eye, kind of like Mission Impossible 2, but doesn't hit her.
But yeah, as we saw earlier, their forces, she's more powerful than him. He's trying to control the metal, and she can stop him from controlling the metal.
Yeah, she sends it away, and then she breaks apart his helmet.
Yeah, he's just
into, like-
crushing his helmet on him.
Yeah, that's like crushing it onto his scone. And he's gone, and then he's like, he's feeling all that pressure, and then she just like rips it off, right?
Yep, and then shoots him out the door. And then this is when
Stabs him with it,
the
yeah.
professor comes in,
Mm.
and then she gets him out of his chair, crushes his chair, and then makes him walk up the stairs like a puppet.
Oh, that was terrible. No, there was a line that led up to it. It says, he says something like, "You can do anything if you believe it." And she goes, "Walk up here and tell me." And I thought that was just a mean thing to say.
Yeah.
And then she was going to turn around and walk around. But then she starts puppeteering him like Freddy Krueger does to that kid in Nightmare on Elm Street 3. And watching Charles being, walked up the steps was one of the most disturbing things. Wasn't feeling a lot of sympathy for Professor X at this time, because at the moment in the film he was sort of being self-serving and still very high and mighty. Didn't think he was wrong. But this sort of made me feel really, really sorry for him, because that was uncomfortable to watch.
Yeah.
Dark Phoenix was dark.
Mm.
And if it was MCU, Ant-Man comes straight through the door with a stupid one-liner. "Hey, Woody, look at you fucking blah, 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 blah. Here's something funny to distract you from this awful scene." But nah, in this movie, they just let you sit in it. Make you feel uncomfortable. You're not supposed to like that scene.
So the professor manages to get Jean to read his memories, allowing her personality to resurface here.
Mm.
So then she turns to Vuk and tells her to take the Phoenix Force from her.
Mm. It's sort of revealed there that Charles wasn't doing this to be a dick or hold her back. He wanted to do it to spare her of her feelings or whatever, look after her, because it come from a place of love, which didn't really come across as good as I wanted it to be, because this whole thing leading up to this is like, Professor X is bad, he's hiding something. And you're expecting a scene where he sort of fesses up to what he was hiding, and it doesn't really happen. It's sort of watch what happens, and you have to guess for yourself what he did. And it sort of paid off, but it wasn't paid off as well as I would have liked it to. But effectively, at this point in the movie, you're on Professor X's side. And she wants the Phoenix power taken out of her.
So yeah, Vuk decides to try to take it out of her, and then the professor realizes here that she's gonna kill her by doing this. And
Yeah,
then
if she
she's
takes
gonna
all
do
the Phoenix,
something
she's
bad.
a goner. Yeah.
Yeah. So then they're like, oh, hang on, we don't want this to happen, and then they separate them.
It's like, Jean, don't do this.
Yeah.
Don't let her take it. And does anyone else help separate them? Or is it just Professor
I
X?
think Cyclops blasts
Oh,
her.
yes. Sight comes back again.
Yeah, and then after then, that's when the government will show up,
Yeah, with the collars and the...
stun gun everyone.
And they got the collars with the sticks on them.
That's
And
right.
they're dragging everybody through the glass and broken pebbles and rocks and debris.
So they drag them all out, shove them on a train.
Nightcrawler was there too. I forgot about Nightcrawler.
That's right. Nightcrawler popping.
Bamfing everywhere.
Bam.
Bam! It had a funny sound this time around.
Yeah,
like,
it didn't. It wasn't a bam.
No, it wasn't a bamf. It was like that or something like that.
So this is the big train scene at the end. So
Which was all reshoots, right?
apparently, yeah,
Which is really cool because it looked pretty good.
it
You
did.
think with the reshoots, you think, oh, they only got half the budget, half the time. What they're going to churn out is going to be crap. But I really enjoyed this because, like I think you said, there's like a callback. In X-Men 3, they were on a truck being held captive with the collars on or whatever. In this one, they're on a train, similar sort of feel. They're all in there. And, yeah.
Yeah, so they all get caught. The train's under attack by all the Dabari, which now are like friggin', I don't know, the mummy bad guys that just running along trains and shit. And or that or they're friggin' vampires like
Yeah.
in Blade 2.
They're
Like,
just when you shoot them, they're just crumbled to turn to dust. But if you don't shoot them hard enough, they can regenerate. So it's only the bloke on the 50 cal that was wiping them out.
that's right.
They're the mummy now. They're made of sand. What's going on? What are these? What are the? Not Chitauri.
Dabari.
Dabari. What are the Dabari?
So the guards are trying to hold them off, but they're going hopeless. All the mutants are going, let us out. We'll give you a hand. Like, no, we can't let you out. We can't let you out. Most of them die. All of a sudden, oh yeah, let's let them all
There's
out.
this one black guard that says to Nightcrawler, "Oh, my son, you're my son's favorite or whatever."
Yeah.
And I think it is that guy who frees Nightcrawler, who in turn frees the rest of them.
Yeah.
So one tiny little setup and payoff there to get them out.
So yeah, they all get out here, and we do get some good scenes here of them all fighting together.
This was
You've
a
got
pretty
storm
cool
out here with
action sequence.
electricity.
Yeah.
And then that's when Magneto gets all the guns together. Which
Yeah,
is,
that's when not Lalandra's coming in.
Yep.
And it's a showdown between those two, and then you see Magneto just do his thing, and all the guns start coming off the racks, and which I thought was interesting because the the whole series Magneto's all been about you Homo sapiens and your guns,
Yeah, yeah.
and he doesn't like guns, but here he's just using them, and it's like, oh, this is such a gnarly scene, man, shooting the crap out of her.
Also, Jean's in like the front carriage, and she's in the crucified position.
Yeah, she's in the she's being crucified. I thought, wouldn't it be simpler just to have a flat table and have her hands by her side? But it seemed like, I don't know. Are you trying to say that she's Jesus? Jesus Grey?
Yeah,
I don't know why that was a decision. But Professor X is there with her, and so is Cyclops. And Professor X trying to go on all mine to
so
help her out.
He manages to get her to go into his mind.
And
And
it's
then-
nicer there.
Yeah, helps her control the Phoenix Force so she can battle Vuk and the Dabari for the final battle. So then, yeah, this is when she becomes full on using the power, and she's just like dusting everyone, like she's got the Infinity Stones.
Oh, hang on. We got it back when she lifts the train up and crashes the train. And then that's when all the... I can't remember what the name... Dabari are coming at her. And she's got super speed, and she can dust them by grabbing them by the head and then just dusting them away.
Yeah.
I thought it should have been ash and fire, because that's what Phoenix is about. But it pretty much was dust or autumn leaf them. Turn them into autumn leaves. And, wipes out a whole bunch of those people, gets Not Lalandra in a chokehold, and gonna burn the crap out of her. But she sees, the fire's too much, and it's affecting all the
hurting
X-Men.
Cyclops.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then, she just flies her into outer space, kills her then.
I thought you were going to take her into the sun.
Yeah.
I thought it was coming.
No, because it's not a good movie. And then she goes full Phoenix Firebird form.
Yes. And does she come back? I can't remember. Nah, she just stays in space,
And that's it.
and all the X-Men are left on Earth.
So there is that very similar dialogue here that I need to watch it again to get, and then watch
Yeah.
Captain Marvel again, because I swear it's exactly the same fucking thing where they're saying how she's weak because of her emotions, and then she's
She
like,
said, "My emotions make me strong."
I'm sure that's what bloody Captain Marvel says. 'Cause that's the whole thing in Captain Marvel.
I remember you saying, "I thought they changed the ending to make it sound less like
Yeah.
Captain Marvel." They word for word.
I swear that's word for word what happens.
Well, I wasn't familiar with Captain Marvel, so it could have been, but the powers are very similar. Dark Phoenix does have this sort of energy that emanates. She can fly, and she's crazy powerful, and very similar to Captain Marvel.
So then we get the aftermath now,
Mm-hmm.
and the professor leaves the school.
Yeah, it's no
And-
longer the Professor X's
No.
School for Gifted Youngers. It's the Jean Grey.
School, yep.
I thought, what?
And Beast is running it.
Beast's the principal.
Mm-hmm. The Professor and Magneto take off to Paris and try and recreate the end of The Dark Knight Rises.
Ah, jeez, and Alfred shows up, gives them
Gives them
wink.
the wink, and yeah, they're just playing chess.
They play chess there.
and then this is when they see in the sky, you see the Phoenix Firebird come through again.
And it's like, oh wow, and then cut to black credits.
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
I remember when the movie finished, I asked you, so what do you think of that? And you said, I don't know. And then doing this review tonight, it's like, it doesn't sound like you had a good time.
When you put it all down on paper,
When
you
it's
can
on
get-
paper, you
Yeah.
get sort of perspective and realise what you've been watching wasn't that good. At the time, I was just excited because I'm seeing X-Men.
Yeah.
Hey. But
Like, you can pick things that you like out of it. There's heaps of cool scenes in there. I also liked how the Phoenix's hair was like zero gravity.
Yes,
It's like floating
yeah.
around. That was really cool. I really like that.
I think all the Phoenix stuff was spot on.
Yeah.
Except for the power turning them into dust, should have been turning them into ash because fire. All the effects of her face cracking because of the energies underneath was really good.
But there was none of her costume either.
Yeah,
I would have
no.
loved to have seen something, even
Yeah.
a sash, anything. That would have been good.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Maybe third time's the charm if they have another crack at it. But good things about the movie. I thought all the cast. Oh, not Jennifer Lawrence. All the cast were really given everything. I thought Sophie Turner, who was playing Jen,
Yeah,
really
she did well.
She swinging for the fences, man. And James McAvoy as Professor X and Michael Fassbender as Magneto. I mean, it's always great to see them in a scene doing those characters because I think they've earned their stripes as those characters. When I think of Professor X, I'll be thinking of both Patrick Stewart and James McAvoy.
Yeah, yeah.
Likewise with Ian McKellen and Michael Fassbender when I think Magneto, because I think they've really sort of earned.
Yeah,
those
they've made
characters.
it theirs. Yeah.
They've made it theirs, and they've earned those characters. The big tragedy of it, I finally found a Cyclops in live action cartoon comic book that I really like. And chances are, this is was it Ty Sheridan's
Yeah.
last run at it, which is really, really unfortunate because I really dug him as Cyclops.
Although the original Cyclops, I
Yeah,
believe
he's all right.
I
James
believe
Marsden, he's all
he
right.
was playing Cyclops from the animated
Yeah,
series.
you reckon?
Which is, I could see, I hate that Cyclops. Yeah, you're playing the guy I hate. Like,
Yeah.
that's the
So
way
it's an
I.
accurate representation. Yeah.
So I like that.
Mm.
But yeah, this
Oh,
Cyclops,
Logan, stay away from my girl.
I could get behind.
Yeah. If this was going to be a leader of the X-Men Cyclops, I would have, yes, give us that next movie in another reality where Fox still owns Marvel and Dark Phoenix was better. Give me that movie where Cyclops is in charge now and he's being the leader. If you touch my girlfriend, I'll fucking kill you.
Yeah.
What a line to save a character. Hashtag there you go, Marcus.
Yeah. What does Marcus think
What
of
does
that?
Marcus
I'd
think?
love to hear what Marcus thinks.
But yeah, I thought the actors really gave it their all. In terms of reception wise, I don't think it. Everyone's saying it's the worst X-Men movie there is. It's not that. There's too much good stuff in there for me to consider it like one of the weaker X-Men movies. A lot of people saying it's one of the worst superhero movies. I don't agree with that either. It's definitely not the worst. I mean, there are others, just with personal preference and in overall quality. Fantastic Four comes to mind. Rise of the Silver Surfer and all those other ones, and Ant-Man that I didn't like. But it's just, for what it wasn't... if you compare Last Stand to Dark Phoenix, I think Last Stand was more of a better balanced movie. Had like a good first, second, and third structure act. You know, it sort of built to a point and then it finished.
Yep.
Whereas this one, you sort of, everything's happening, but nothing's really getting resolved. The ending shows up and finishes, and you're like, we didn't really build to that, I don't think. Did we really earn that ending? And with Professor X retiring and becoming the Jean Grey school, and she's still in space, there's a lot of questions left out there, rather than it being tightly wrapped finish, you know what I mean? It wasn't an endgame finish. Now, endgame wrapped up and everything's finished, and okay, there we go. We can move on to the next phase of the X-Men. It wasn't that. I mean, going in, I'm not sure if the writers knew that this would be their last go at it. Otherwise, maybe they would have tried to finish it up.
Okay, well, that's something. Where do you go from here?
Yeah.
Like, if they wrote this with the intention of moving on or finishing up, either way, it doesn't do either.
No, it's really stuck in limbo, and it seems like it's a part 2 of a movie. It seems like they tried to finish with Empire Strikes Back, but it wasn't as good as Empire. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a lot of unresolved issues here, which is sad. I sent you that quote.
Go through that.
I'll open up that quote again because I found it when I was researching Dark Phoenix. It wasn't researching Dark Phoenix. I was just looking it up, as you do after you've seen a movie. You want to learn all about its backstory, at least we do anyway. And it was a quote from the director of First Class, Matthew Vaughn. I'll just bring it up now, which he talks about what his trilogy was going to be. He had a trilogy in mind from... I can't remember where I saw this, but you can look it up later. Matthew Vaughn, who directed First Class, tells Coming Soon, that's the website, that Fox forced him to quit directing a planned X-Men trilogy. He says, "My plan was First Class, then second film was New Young Wolverine, Tom Hardy or someone, in the 70s to continue those characters. My version of X-Men. So you'd really get to know all of them, and my finale was going to be Days of Future Past."
Yeah.
Fox read Days of Future Past and went, "Oh, this is too good. We're doing it now." And then he goes, and I said, "Well, what do you do next? Trust me, you've got nowhere to go."
Yeah.
Then they did Apocalypse, which pretty much sums up what his plan was. And I think it would have been a really solid plan.
Yeah.
But that would have involved probably not bringing back Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, or Hugh Jackman as a Wolverine, maybe. Do you think that's what... So
yeah,
I
probably.
think there's good and bad in that, because Days of Future Past is an amazing movie. I thought it was an excellent X-Men movie, and having both James McAvoy, all the past and present characters playing opposite each other, I thought it was wild.
Yeah,
and a really big event sort of thing. I don't think it would have happened with Matthew Vaughn's vision. So there's good and bad in that. Yes, the trilogy would have been better. You get a story in and out and a really arcing trilogy, but you don't get the sort of epicness of having Patrick Stewart and James McAvoy share a scene, and Hugh Jackman coming back to an X-Men movie with Wolverine in the character.
When you really think about it, the Phoenix saga should be a trilogy, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so.
You should have a Phoenix movie and then 2 Dark Phoenix movies.
See, to me, that's why the Phoenix story hasn't worked on the big screen yet, because they're skipping straight to Dark Phoenix. Yeah, where you got to have the light before you get to the dark, you know what I mean? There's
so much to go through, and they just try and cherry pick the best of it, and it doesn't work.
It just doesn't work, because, the Phoenix is a entity from space. It can't be living inside Jean.
No.
When the entity in space, you've got to have Lilandra and what the
Shi'ar.
The Shi'ar. And you've got to have I'm doing bad.
The Hellfire Club.
You've got to have the Hellfire Club.
Yeah.
You've got to have all this and that. The Mkron, Krista, and Decan. You've got to have her put it in the sun and then come back, and the Phoenix gets corrupted by emotion. And they're just skipping straight to the Dark Phoenix without any of the backstory in there. So it makes sense for what you're saying, make it all a trilogy, the X-Men trilogy, but then you're sort of really making it about a Jean, and which you really could have done with this actress.
Yeah.
I think you really could have gone through all that with the Phoenix trilogy, and it would have been really neat.
Another thing we did mention on the night was how the movie felt so mashed together.
It was a bit of a mishmash.
You could really tell that there was obvious reshoots and that it didn't feel like one movie.
No, no.
It felt like 3 movies, and that 2 of them that they'd changed the ending, and then they crammed all of them together and gone, yeah, that'll do.
This seems like an editor's nightmare to try and make it make sense. And I would like to see, if it was possible to see Simon Kinberg's original idea for a Dark Phoenix movie, maybe it would have made more sense with the Skrull in it, but maybe less sense for us because we know the Skrull aren't a part of this Phoenix story. But maybe it would have made more sense of a movie having a first, second, and third act that was clearly defined.
Yeah,
I wager a lot of the studio notes or feedback notes or reshoot notes was to include a bit more action because the third act was all action.
Yeah,
and I wager the original third act wasn't as big as that.
No.
Yeah, so he was probably trying to tell a more contained, smaller story, and the studio wasn't having it. So we need to make big action pieces, and that's how you get a bit of a mishmash.
Another complaint I had is something that you touched on with the Endgame is the fan service. There was no mutant cameos.
There was no fan.
We've got this whole Not Genosha scene with all these mutants, none of them anyone.
This is something that has been throughout most of the X. I think of Last Stand and this one. Like, who are all these mutants that are on Magneto's side? Spike Face Man, arms that grow back man, roots, not spikes that grow out of the guy's arms and throws at Wolverine man. It's like, who are all these guys? Where's?
But at least they look like mutants.
Yeah,
like when you look at when they come back to the school. All of the children are just kids.
Yeah.
No, there's no purple kid.
Yeah,
there's no flying kid. Yeah. There's no kid walking through a wall.
That's right. That's right.
It was just
what's so gifted about it?
This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So that really annoyed me. Yeah.
This is the most, I don't often say this, but it's the most un-X-Men X-Men movie in terms of having mutants being a part of society. That whole sort of shunning them or whatever and mutants being different wasn't really a factor here because Beast wasn't blue. I think Nightcrawler's the only one that was blue.
Also, we didn't get an answer as to why Storm was using that umbrella at the funeral
and why there was even rain at the funeral.
Like, come on, Storm, what are you doing?
Another thing I noticed with Dark Phoenix, there's so many characters in the movie, and I feel as though I don't spend much time with any of them.
Yeah,
there's barely any time with Scott. Barely any time with Charles or Magneto. Sometimes I forgot that Storm and Nightcrawler were in it.
Yeah.
And Dark Phoenix, and spent a fair bit of time with Jean, which is fair. The movie's named after her. But all these relations, James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender talked about it on like a press tour for Dark Phoenix. What was it like doing all these scenes together? And where they go, we didn't have many scenes together.
Yeah.
And First Class was great. We have so many scenes together. And as the movies went on, we got less and less and less. And then they just really had just the park scene and the scene on the train. And I was like, oh yeah, they're barely in it. And it's like, one of my favourite parts of First Class is just when they're hanging out and talking together. And they did mention, that we get a chess scene at the end, which is nice. I was like, well, can't have it all. And I understand eventually it has to start becoming more about the X-Men, but in terms of balance, I feel as though we didn't get to spend much time with any of them. Whereas in the Avengers movies, which is, I compare like X-Men, Avengers, and Expendables. They're all team movies with all fascinating characters. Individuals. And Avengers is the only one that has balanced it right for me. You spend enough time with Hawkeye, Iron Man, Hulk, Scarlett Johansson, what's the character name? Black Widow. But in Expendables, you spend the whole movie with Stallone and Statham, and you feel all these other Expendables are really cool. You better see or hang out with them, except during an action sequence. And same with the X-Men. With the original trilogy, there's probably heavy loaded with Wolverine. You spend most time Wolverine, a little bit of Professor, a little bit of the bad guy. And with these new ones, it's just we're not getting enough of them. You know what I mean?
All right, let's go ratings.
See, this is really hard because I haven't rated any of the other X-Men movies, and this movie's not an 8.
No.
It's not a 5. It's probably a 7, but I
Yeah.
don't like giving 7s, so I'll just give it a 6.5.
Well, IMDb's given it a 6,
Mm.
and I say that's pretty right.
Yeah.
If you go back through the IMDb's for the other movies,
Mm.
so Last Stand is 6.8,
Whoa.
Origins is 6.7, and The Wolverine is 6.7.
Mm.
So Logan's 8.2.
That's harsh.
Days of Future Past is 8.
Mm.
And X-Men 2 is 7.5.
X-Men 2 7.5.
Yeah.
That should be an 8.
IMDb.
Mm. Worst to best X-Men movies. I wouldn't say this is the worst. I think as much as we hang shit on Last Stand, I still sort of enjoyed it at the time.
Mm.
There's still bits in it I like.
Yeah.
So you could say that they're almost the same. But
Yeah.
there's bits we like. Overall, not a really good movie.
No.
Last Stand had better structure, I think, better
Mm.
pacing, but overall wasn't that great.
But yeah, ridiculous story.
This one
And they
had
try to cram so much into that movie
tried
too.
to cram so much with the Cure and this
Which
and
they
that.
could have done in this movie.
Mm.
Like, knowing it was the end, why didn't they just go, oh yeah, throw some Savage Land in there. Let's throw
Get real
something else
Genosha
in
happening.
here. Yeah, let's get Asteroid M in there. Let's get
Would have loaded it up.
friggin' everything in there.
Yeah, to me, this seems like it had a lot of potential, but again, they just didn't deliver on what was expected this time around. I think when everyone says, "Oh, they're having another go at Dark Phoenix," they're definitely going to get it right this time, and I think they still rimmed out. They missed the point of it. But to me, the music really elevates it, and the performance of the actors who wanted to be there really made it worth watching.
All right, so how long do we have off before we see another X-Men on the screen?
Oh, wow. I mean, Fox is officially bought by Disney now.
Yeah.
Dark Phoenix is wrapped up. This is the last we'll see of this cast, I believe.
Mhm.
I doubt they'd bring anybody back.
So they do have that New Mutants coming, but who knows what's happening with
You know
that.
what's great? That I read somewhere, I don't know how true it is, that Deadpool 2, New Mutants, and Dark Phoenix all wrapped at the exact same time.
Yes. Well, the
And
Dark
Deadpool
Phoenix and
2
Deadpool 2 wrapped on exactly the same day. Yes. And then
Can
that
you
was just
believe
after.
that?
Yeah.
Deadpool 2's already out on Blu-ray with a third release. It already got a Once Upon a Time a Deadpool or whatever.
yeah.
It already had a cinematic release of a re-edited version, and Dark Phoenix still hadn't come out yet. That is absolutely insane. I mean,
Yep.
it goes back to, like, if I could praise David Leitch as his directing skills coming from stunts and the John Wicks, having everything planned out meticulously start to finish from script base,
Mhm.
even though there's room for improv or whatever and jokes and stuff like that, the whole crux of the story ready to go. No rewrite, no nothing. You shoot it with a plan, get it in and out on time, delivered, and it's ready to go. It's perfect. When you don't, when you're flying from the seat of your pants, Dark Phoenix style, New Mutant style, people interfering, and it gets delayed
Yeah.
by almost a year and a half?
It was the November 2, 2018. It was supposed to come out.
See what I mean, man? It's just... And reshoots, it just really hurts it when you're not prepared from the beginning. And surely you could have sent a memo to, like, Marvel Studios. Hey, you going to use a scroll in anything? Yes, we are. Captain Marvel. All right, let's make them actual Lilandra and the Shi'ar.
So, yeah. So, do we set them out for the next phase and then bring them in after that? Or
Definitely give them a phase.
Or do we just jump in end of the movie?
I feel as though jumping in is the worst possible thing
Yeah.
you can do right now. Do not rush the X-Men. And I think it's time to give them a time on the shelf. Let audiences give them a chance to miss them.
Yeah.
If I could quote Pink there. But
Who?
never mind. Because we've seen X-Men now since 1999.
Yeah.
And it hasn't been as constant as the MCU, but these characters all have been around since 1999. It's time to let them
Let them breathe.
breathe, let them sit on the shelf for a bit, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, Have the audience wonder, hey, I haven't seen Cyclops in anything for a while. Instead of like, this just came, it's like Spider-Man. The reboot came out the Amazing Spider-Man came out 4 years after Spider-Man 3, and then Spider-Man 2 happens, and then he gets rebooted maybe 2.5 years later. Because Spider-Man. I think, oh well, because he's the main guy, people are alright seeing him, but we've got to give the X-Men time to be missed.
The whisper is that they're going to do Fantastic Four before they do the X-Men,
which is fine because they need a win more than the X-Men do.
Also, wasn't old mate involved with that as well? Simon Kinberg, wasn't he involved with
some
terrible Fantastic Four movie?
I think he wrote that one too.
Yeah,
and mate,
got good credit.
He has got a good
strike rate.
Strike rate isn't that great. My mate Sam from work sent me a link on Instagram that there was a planned Fantastic Four X-Men spin-off, which if he was helming that, it could have been just as much of a cluster.
Right.
But I think the Marvel getting back the X-Men, it's in safe hands now.
Yeah.
We're not going to get any big misses. I don't think we're going to get any misses now because the MCU doesn't miss. You know what I mean? They're like Hawkeye.
Yeah.
They not look at the bullseye and still hit it. You know what I mean? So we're going to get. I think we will when we eventually do get another X-Men under the MCU banner. It will be a more accurate representation of these characters than we've seen so far. I think, and I think it will be in the style of the MCU. So all that dark stuff that you see, Professor X being puppeteered and fathers not wanting daughters, if they are going to be scenes like that, you better believe there's going to be a Marvel cutter in there that will chop it off with a joke. Because I really don't think those sort of dark scenes can exist in the MCU under a Disney banner. But that's a small price to pay for comic accurate costumes. So Phoenix, that is fire. Shi'ar, Gambit, Beast being Beast, Professor X. I think it's exciting times ahead. We're going to get some X-Men eventually down the road. Don't rush it, MCU. We're not clamouring to see it. Give them time to breathe and come back when they're strong, ready to go with a great story to be told.
And we'll be there.
And we'll be there.
And we'll talk about it.
And we'll talk about it. Maybe we might get Jubilee.
No.
No, there's already fan petitions for Disney to reboot, not reboot, but continue on X-Men the Animated Series. Which would be really neat.
Yeah.
There's so many cool stories you could pick up from.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. X-Men Dark Phoenix, or just Dark Phoenix it was called in the States. Not well received on Rotten Tomatoes, the worst reviewed one, and it's the slowest at the box office. I think it's the lowest opening of all X-Men franchise.
But go and see it.
But go and see it.
I would never tell anyone not to go see it.
No, don't write off your opinions based on what ours are, whether it's good or bad. Go and see it and judge for yourselves. Yeah.